Our Parsha tells us a story about how Yaakov was preparing to greet his brother Esav, and while he was traveling to him, it says, Vayishlach Yaakov levade, that Yaakov was left alone. And the Gemara tells us levade can be read also as lechade, which means that he went over the river while traveling with his family for pachim ketanim, small little jugs. Lechade, small little possessions that were left over, and he went to get them and he was left alone. The Medrash tells us that the word levade means that there's a resemblance to Hashem. And that is, by Hashem it says, Kinisko Shmei Levadei, that Hashem, his name is lofty, and the oneness of Hashem is great. And Yaakov Avinu, him staying back, the verse is telling us this high level of loftiness that he attained. Now, we know that anytime there's two explanations on any verse, and more specifically on the same word, there is a connection between them. So this week, the Parsha is Vayishlach, and there's also a special holiday that we celebrate, and that is Yutes Kislev, the day that the Alter Rebbe came out of prison. So everything that is celebrated during a certain time is connected to the Parsha of the week, and specifically when you actually have the day occurring on the Shabbos that the Parsha is read. So when it comes to the holiday of Yutes Kislev, there's a question, and that is, why was Chassidus revealed in the later generations and not in the previous generations? So there's two explanations that are given. One is because we live in a very dark time. And because it's so dark, Hashem gave us this extra ability to combat the negativity that surrounds us and to lighten up the darkness. And therefore we have the tools and the resources through the study of Chassidus to be able to do that. Another explanation that's given is, on the global time scale, we are standing by the imminent coming of Mashiach. And there's a mitzvah in Shulchan Aruch that says that the person's supposed to taste from the food of Shabbos on Erev Shabbos, and Shabbos being the timing of Mashiach, and we're standing a Friday afternoon. Therefore, we have this revelation of Chassidus that came to our generation in order for us to get a glimpse and start tasting what we're going to be experiencing very soon. Now, just like we said earlier, you had two contrasting opinions on the same verse. One went back for small little jugs, and the second one that it resembles this high level of loftiness similar to Hashem. So too, when it comes to the spreading of Chassidus, we find two explanations. One, because of the darkness, that's why Chassidus was revealed. And on the other hand, because of the special and unique time we're standing in, right before the coming of Mashiach, that's why we get a taste of it. Now, the idea is like this. In the world, Torah is the soul of the world. The world was created for Torah. And therefore, in Torah, we find that there are two elements. In Torah, there's the body of Torah, which are the practical applications of everything that Torah tells us. And then there's the soul of Torah, Nishmasa Deiraisa, also known as Galia V'Sasim, which means the hidden part of Torah and the revealed part of Torah. Now, Chassidus came and made a connection between these two parts. And that is, although in previous times there were many individuals who studied Torah, and they were well versed in both aspects of Torah, the hidden and the revealed, it always stayed as two different departments. There was the hidden and the revealed. Chassidus came and connected and brought about a unity that both parts of Torah are completely one, and not only are they one, but you need each one to understand the other one fully. And just like you have that in Torah, and everything starts from Torah, as Torah is the soul of the world, you also have it in people. You had in previous generations, you had various tzaddikim who they remained segregated from the community that they had an influence on. And that is, they stayed in their place of comfort, but they affected the people that were reached by their teachings. Chassidus came and made how everybody is together, no matter the lofty level or position the individual of influence is in, he's completely one with the person he's reaching. And this is also something that's experienced on an individual level when it comes to people experiencing the levels of the neshama. So there's various parts to our neshama, the most deepest part being Yechida. Chassidus reveals how a person can tap into even the most inner part of the neshama and thereby make him feel comfortable and understand that he's completely one with his fellow Jew. And this is something that Chassidus reveals by tapping into the essence of Torah, which is even beyond and comes before any individual levels or segments or different categories that a person can put the world, Torah, or people in. So that's what Chassidus came to reveal. And this is the idea of Yafutza Ma'anesecha Chutza. Yafutza Ma'anesecha Chutza means that you should spread the well springs of Chassidus to the outside. Now, there's two ways that can be done. One way is your influence reaches the outside, but you, the actual source, the Mayim, the wellspring is not on the outside, it's on the inside, and it's affecting the outside. A deeper level is where every single element of the world is actually a Mayan. It's actually spreading forth further and reaching wider audiences, thereby being the source of the inspiration. And that's what Chassidus gives us the ability to accomplish, and that's what we are tasked to do. And that is to spread Chassidus in every single place and make the world a place of Torah and Chassidus, but the world itself calling that out and being the wellspring itself. And the same idea is when it comes to the world. There's various levels on how a person can relate to Hashem. By definition, the world is called Olam, which means Helim, which means concealment. And the level of godliness that a person could relate to by strict judgment of the way the world is fashioned would be a very limited level of godliness. It would be the level of godliness that's connected with the world. Even someone who experiences miracles, it's all relative to the nature of the world, but it's a level of godliness that has to do with the fabric of the world. There's a deeper level, and that's called Pella, something that's wondrous. And the Alter Rebbe, in the letter that he wrote after he was released from prison, he says that Hifli v'higdil Hashem lasis baretz. It means that Hashem made wondrous and great the miracles that took place. And what the idea is that a person is able to experience in this world a level of connection to Hashem that's even beyond the regular level of godliness he thought he could have attained, but a level of godliness that's beyond the world in every way. And that's the idea of Hifli. And this is what the Alter Rebbe wanted, and this is what he communicated in the letter, that it should be Ba'aretz. It should be in the lowliest of levels, that the highest level of godliness should permeate every single level. And this is the idea of what we said in the beginning of the parsha, that there's two explanations on the verse of that Yaakov was left by himself. And what that means is he was left by himself for small jugs. In order to experience the highest levels, it's through it being brought down to the lowest of levels. And through it being brought down to the lowest of levels in a way that the lowest of levels themselves are called the Mayan, that's how we bring down all the blessing and all the divine revelation into this world, which is the whole purpose of creation. And that's something that we have the ability to do through the holiday of Yutes Kislev, where Chassidus, as a result, started becoming much more spread and much more explained. And we have all the empowerment from the Parsha, and Hashem should bless us all that we should be able to do what we can, and even more than that, to bring the coming of Mashiach speedily.